Hello guys, welcome to a new video on Tower of God New World, and in this video I'm going to be reviewing the account of TRIQUE. This account is like 2 weeks old and is not a free-to-play account, and we will see with the amount of mats he managed to get, and also the amount of investment he has on some units. So yeah, we're going to just have a look at the units he built, the kind of issues he's facing, and also the kind of use he could do of his materials, these kind of topics. So that you can also have a point of reference of which kind of issues you're starting to face if you ends up like pushing way beyond your limit, which is kind of what is happening here, or well, not necessarily behind your limit, but way too quickly. So we're going to talk about that in this video. I will try to keep it short. I don't want to make, again, super long videos, but it's probably going to end up at the very least 20 minutes long. So hang in there if you think this content could be useful for you. And we can just get started by looking at the different elements and which kind of units he decided to build. I will say that I don't expect to see anything too strange here, mainly because this guy was hanging around my Discord server for quite some time during his first couple of weeks of progression, so since the start basically, and he received a lot of advice from a lot of different people, so I'm expecting to see some good decisions here and there. Now for yellow, we can already see that he went for Hiwa in the welcome banner, so he maxed her out and he got the free copy of Evan. Hiwa has the Exusiakimata plus 30, which is perfectly fine because she's the main carry of this color. And she also got Revolution 5, which is kind of questionable. I don't know if she also has more investment in the subnodes. I hope not, a little bit. So here I see a bit of mess in general in leveling up the subnodes. For the first, well, this one is not that necessary, but accuracy could be okay later on once you actually don't have enough accuracy, because accuracy, when it's over the enemy evasion, means nothing. So you just need to have enough to hit the enemies. Putting points here is just spending your orange mats, so it's not that necessary because you are 150 accuracy over the enemy evasion, so you didn't really need these 40 points, but it's okay, it's fine, nothing really major. The 7 points in swiftness is good, at least this node is still quite fine. These other nodes, on the other hand, the ones for T4 and T5, are kind of weak, as you can also see here. The scaling sucks, and they are 1/4 of the value that an SSR Plus gets. So I wouldn't really bother investing orange mats in the subnodes for SSR units, but that's okay. T4 sucks for Hiwa. T5 is nice, but you probably didn't really need that. You could have saved your green mats here, I would say. Still, not too bad. At least she's a carry unit and she can help out a bit more with that amount of investment. Now the other units that are built kind of in this element are BAM, 2 rainbow. Could have stopped earlier, probably like 3 red. You don't really need supports at rainbow 5 before the enemies are rainbow 5. This is more or less my mental guideline, I would say, that I used at the time. So yeah, it's fine. 2 rainbow is good. Could have stopped probably at 3 red, but it's okay. No big deal. You will have to get him to rainbow 5 eventually, so there is no problem here. Hats is 3 red at the moment. Now the thing with tanks that do not have invincibility, as you have experienced already, is that at high deficits, if they don't have the ignition weapons ready, they are only dying. So this unit at the current moment is useless. It will need Exusiakime to plus 20 and a Sela set with resistances on slot 4 and slot 5. And probably you're not going to get that anytime soon, because again, it's more or less time gated, let's say, more than resource gated. So kind of tricky. And yeah, everyone else you don't really need to invest in at the moment, so you did well just skipping them. So your yellow element is really solid. For purple, we have investment on Joaquin, which is the main carry. He went for Joaquin's banner as well, and he got Karaka out of it, which is nice. Then he has investment on Yura and Kunagero, two solid supports, so that's fine. And also Vivi has like 2 purple, which could be enough. You could start building honor when you have the resources to do it, because that's the main issue. Exclusive equipment is a pain in the ass early on, and you will really feel it when you are at a deficit and you cannot give anything to your units to stay alive. So yeah, for most people, if you're not rushing adventure, by the time you get there, you will have some frontline unit that do not rely on invincibility, like the Hard or Data Machine. That they're always valid because they do rely on invincibility. But like his Karaka at the moment cannot survive at all. He needs the 30% magic and physical resistance from the plus 30, and he needs Miongo set as well. With those two, it's going to be super tanky. Without them, it's just dying. So that's a bit unfortunate. And the purple element here does not have a frontline currently. Same thing as the yellow element. That's more or less the thing. The 2 supports are fine. You don't need more investment than these, as I mentioned before, so that's good. And you already have a sub DPS. Kiseiya could have been a good pick as well as a sub DPS, but not really that needed. And she also needs the plus 20 exclusive equipment and the Rayana set. So no need for pull for her, like to pull for her. You already have a 5-man team that's pretty much set. You can just invest in those units and you'll be fine. For red, you have a super invested SSR plus Evankel, so you also went for Evankel banner, obviously. And we can see that also revolution-wise, you did a lot of investment in our subnodes, which is fine because as we can see here, on level 14 we got 60% attack, while level 1 we got at 0.6% for Hiwa. The amount that SSR Plus gets really justified the investment in these subnodes, so that's really, really good. And no regrets here, like Evankel is a monster in your case. This one was probably overkill, the 20 points in accuracy, because you don't need it right now, but it's okay. Your Evankel is really, really huge. Everyone else is kind of meh. You have a 3 red Varian, but she has the same issue as the other units, as Hats and also Karaka. She cannot stay alive, so she cannot provide that much value. We have also Awakened Rock, same issues. Karaka is not surviving, he needs at least ignition weapons. You have a Jinsung Ha without investment, you can unlock his proficiency, actually, to be honest, since you have a lot of books. We could do it right now. That's going to be totally fine. Easy. So we have Jinsung Ha is also okay and no dupes, but you need plus 20 exclusive equipment to wear Rayana. That's it. So the usual stuff, guys. Unfortunately, there is really not much that changes. It's the same things over and over again. Now, Xiaxia is the second support you kind of want to invest on. In here, she's going to provide the attack buff. It's going to be pretty beneficial to the team. Right now, she can hardly stay alive. A bit better than Warrior because she's ranged, so she's not going to get hit as much, but definitely she's going to struggle. But no problem, this element is going to be carried by Evankel at the moment, so no issues. Your blue is on the other hand in a bit of a weak spot, but that's normal. The main units that were available were like Ren on the non-stop banner, Evankel, Joaquin and Hiwa in the welcome banners, so it's totally normal that you don't have blue invested. And well, you just started, you already have way too many invested units, to be honest, so that's good. Your best bet here is again Kaiser. You can just get her to 3 green and she will start being a good carry, but she needs again the exclusive equipment. Data Machine is totally fine as she is. She's just going to survive, no problem, due to her invincibility, so she's going to be the frontline of the team. Other good picks here for your future blue team will be Blanc as one of the supports, Leroro as the second support, and Novik to further boost the damage that Kaiser deals. This is kind of the 5-man team You could add a Kurdan instead of a Datamashini or instead of a Novik, just to have another meat shield that's going to protect your backline. That's an option. You could add Blarod, again, instead maybe of a Leroro or again of Novik, just to have a unit that can assassinate an enemy backline. Though with the current deficit you are facing, is probably going to have an hard time doing that. So yeah, I wouldn't necessarily recommend him. For the last element, we have Ren as the carry. Pretty good. He's already 2 orange with the exclusive achievement at plus 20. Unfortunately, the ignition weapons investment is not really that high at the current moment, but it's not a problem. And yeah, the frontline unit here is the hard right now, but you already have an Endorsey, a Rainbow 5 here. Unfortunately, she has the exact same issue as Karaka, Weekend Rock, and Tank Hats. She's just going to explode, no questions asked, until you give her the plus 20 again exclusive achievement that will give her access to a Sela set. After that, she will be quite tanky and you could replace the hard with her. The 2 supports, so at the moment the team would be Ren, Zahard, and Dorsey. Then the 2 supports will be Hiwa, the SSR Plus version. The new support, she's going to keep the team alive by just healing them and removing the buffs. Removing buffs from the enemies. Going to be pretty cool. And regular Leroro for the Magic Pierce buff. Unfortunately, he has the same problem. He needs to survive, so you need to give him ignition weapons. Not much we can do about it. Now, if you were to get to a point where Endorsey can tank on her own, you could think of replacing Zahard with Child Yuri, depending on the matchup, but you don't necessarily have to do it. It's just a good thing you could think of doing to get some extra damage in there. And that's pretty much it for the units. I will just quickly mention one thing related to like ignition weapons, because before I did some changes. I did save, or actually they have equipped what they had when I first logged into this account, and I also saved the previous sets that you can see here: old Iwa, old Evankel, old Ren. I added old just to remember that ideally you might want to change the way you manage those. And the kind of change I did, I first focused more on an L set for Hiwa, because I saw you had this plus 20 piece for Evankel, which is nothing crazy for Hiwa, unfortunately. You get the physical pierce, which is useless. Physical resistance, which like Hiwa doesn't really care about, but it's fine. We can just have a look again at Hiwa. And this is the situation that I found when I logged into the account. We have another Magic Pierce piece, which is slightly better because here we have the crit rate, but again, it's not too important. I would say it's more important to get that additional 13% Magic Pierce. You don't have to invest in too many duplicates early on. You can just share them, and I mean, you can assemble a set. Like here, I called an L Magic Pierce. I took a good piece from Ren, this slot 2, that had some good Magic Pierce, some resistances. Nothing crazy, but at least it was leveled up and better than this one that literally had nothing other than a 1.5% crit rate. So I took that one from Ren, and I took this one from Evankel. So if we click on use, she's going to have a pretty solid L set that you can then swap. Like as soon as she wins the fight, you can then move the pieces back to other units and create other sets by stealing, let's say, pieces from other units. So you can go and overlap your pieces like for multiple units. It's fine as long as you don't need to use those units in the same team, obviously. And early on, especially now that you have already to use 3 teams, you can easily just assemble good sets this way and then move them from unit to unit, because you won't really need to have 2 DPS on the same team at the moment. You will just have 1 in every single team, and this is really good thing to do. I couldn't really do it for a resistance set because you didn't have any slot 5 with physical resistance leveled up, so I couldn't do a set for like a Ren and Joaquin. And yeah, that's more or less the current situation. And I did the same thing for Ren. So if we go over Ren at the moment, let's just have a quick look. We can see that obviously now we lost this piece because Hiwa took it. But if we go here and we do the L resistances with Magic Pierce, I took this slot, slot 1 I took it from Hiwa, slot 3 I took it from Hiwa because Ren at the current moment doesn't have anything. And slot 2 was already Ren's slot, so that's fine. Slot 4 I took it from Evankel because that was a magic resistance piece that was slightly leveled up. And for slot 5, as I just mentioned, we don't have anything with the resistances, so that's more or less where we are at. So if we click here, we're also going to get a stronger Ren than before, thanks to borrowing Hiwa's pieces. That's more or less the idea and what you should kind of try to do. Don't really build too many pieces of the same set with the same stat early on. Try to have them overlap and use them for multiple units. That's just one advice that might speed up things as soon as your units will have like plus 20 exclusive achievements. That's going to take the most time, unfortunately. So let's just go back to old Ren and old Iwa. So I will put everything as it was before, but I will leave the presets there in case you want to play around with them as well. So we can go here and go old Iwa, and then let's go to Evankel and go with old Evankel as well. Preset, old Evankel. Okay, so that's pretty much it also for how to kind of use the ignition weapons. If we look at adventure, now you're going to have a really difficult time because enemies are way higher than you. So there is not really much you can do, unfortunately. If we just try to have a look at a potential, like the things you could look out for in your current stages are obviously you have a Blarode. You cannot really put a key unit in this position if Blarode is there because it's going to be grabbed and killed by Blarode. So in this case, I put Karaka here so that Karaka can get grabbed. If he were invested, it would survive, but he's not. So it will just die and hopefully fear some units. And yeah, that's more or less the unfortunate thing. Normally you would not put Joaquin in the front line because it will die, and I probably won't do it. Let's try to put this guy here so that Data Machine will go against this guy and this guy will die, but I don't really care. And I will try to focus all my efforts on this side where there is no Data Machine yet. And let's try to see if we can do something here. Difficult, but we'll see. For the second team, we have also a Blarode here, and we have two options. We either sacrifice a unit, which out of this team, probably Bam would be the pick, unfortunately. These two units are pretty good because they are in a position where no enemy is going to jump on them. All the team is going to be focused on Datamashini. Blarode is not going to move from his position, it's just going to grab Bam. So these two units are out of harm's way for quite a bit of time, and that's really good. And then we have Hiwa that is also out of harm's way because again everyone is focused on Datamashini. So she can kind of kill the enemies. This is probably the team that has the most hope of winning. And we're also going to try with the new ignition weapon that I created, like the new preset. And then the last team is also going to be really tricky. We have a frontline that cannot tank, another one that cannot tank. She probably cannot kill anybody here, unfortunately. Maybe someone, but she's not going to kill Quaitro and Blarode, I'm pretty sure, at an elemental disadvantage. And Xiaxia is just there to boost Evankel, but she's dying pretty quickly, I'm sure. So we can just have a look, see what happens, but we don't need to expect much here. We would need some more investment on some sets to actually pull it off. So let's just have a quick look. And then I would say we can just look at the resources, and that would be pretty much it for this review. So here, as we saw, Yura just died immediately because she was in a pretty bad position, but actually Joaquin did a great job, though not enough, because now the bull is dying. Let's see, the damage is not enough. No, and then he immediately got one-shotted as soon as he lost the 40% resistances from the bull. But that was incredibly close. I was not expecting that. As we can see, everyone was moving around this area here. In this current fight, everyone is there. These two guys are super safe. So that's kind of the idea. And let's see if Hiwa can win. She probably can, even without swapping the ignition weapons. Yeah, because Evan and Hiwa just stayed alive and kept like all these 3 units always alive, which is huge. And now here we cannot expect much, to be honest, but let's see. The damage is nice, obviously. She's an invested Evankel, but I think she will die before she can cast the second one. No, she could cast the second one, which is really interesting. And probably... Okay. And can also cast the third one now. Alright. I was not expecting this win, to be honest. Now let's see if we can pull something off here in the first team. Because this guy is going to die immediately. The enemy frontline is going to also kill Yura. I don't want to put this guy here, or he's going to die way too soon. Or actually, shall we try it? Maybe we could also put this guy there. No, I want this guy to be there. Maybe let's just have Blarod kill Kunagero, because he would die anyway. Let's try this way. I would say this could be safer. But in this way, Data Machine is going to go towards Karaka. But let's give it a shot. Since we're already here, makes like not much sense to just be quitting right now. So let's have a look. Okay, bad positioning for Joaquin. Good that he started teleporting. An okay special move, I would say. The fear didn't really proc on a lot of units, and everyone died. Okay, not good. Not good. I would say that purple at high deficits, as long as you have enough evasion, it will eventually win. This guy has 587. The enemy accuracy is 321. How are they even hitting me? Okay, whatever. So, let's have a look. We could also try and leverage some other units to try and win this game. But in here we have nothing. This guy has a disadvantage, so it makes no sense. I don't recall if this guy was invincible from the start or not. No, not really. He is concealed though. It doesn't matter. This unit is not invincible either. Becomes invincible with Revolution 4 or something. So it also makes no sense. This guy would only die. I mean, we could try with this, but I'm not really that optimistic. Let's have a look. If she doesn't die, she might do some damage with the first hit, but I really doubt it. She will 100% die from Blarod. Yes, exactly. So no value whatsoever. We have the Berserker state. This special move is worse than the other one, but at least he got 2 units killed. He evaded a bit more than usual, and let's see. Here we should be. Come on. Okay. It went well. I mean, like, purple team is really, really random. Joaquin, there are times where he just dies for nothing, and there are times where he starts evading at the right moments and then just deletes the whole enemy team. So that's kind of the idea also at times, unfortunately. But at this deficit, as you could see, like, Karaka just gets instantly destroyed. But that does not mean that Karaka does not tank. Karaka does tank, but it has requirements, unfortunately. And yeah, I will say this account is mostly stuck due to a lack of exclusive equipment materials. It's obviously not his fault, it's just that it takes time to build them. the main source of them is going to be the origin trials that you see here. And that's about it. Then you get them from AFK loot, sure, but that's not much. You get them from like event shop. So if you go over the current event here and we go in the exchange shop, it will already have exchanged them for sure. Yes, exactly. We also got like 100 of each, which is not much, is 1/3 of a like level 0 to 10, 10 to 20, and 20 to 30. So not much, but yeah, you see, that's the main problem. I wouldn't go out of my way to buy those with money. There are some packs also in the Super Rookie that, as I mentioned at the beginning, is not free to play. As you can see, he bought quite a few of them and also bought all 10. Wow, we actually got 10? This is nuts. Okay, so these deals are pretty good and he bought most of them. He also bought one of the exclusive achievement packs. These are not that bad, but I would say it's not worth spending money because you will reach a point where you have so many of these. Is really unnecessary. They are a great boost at this point in time. I would say those are the main reason why you are kind of stuck at your current floor and your current stages. But I wouldn't really go out of my way to spend money. At the end of the day, that would just be wasted money because you would have gotten those resources anyway. You will have so many. You will think, like, if you were to buy those, you will just think, why did I do that? I mean, I don't even need them anymore. Sure, they would speed up your progression a bit, but you're already really far ahead. You will get stuck for some other reason at some other point for sure. And ignition weapons are also going to be a huge issue. Let's say you level a lot of units to plus 20 exclusive equipment, but then you don't have the ignition weapons to give them. So there will always be issues here and there. There's not much to do. It's an AFK game, just wait it out a bit and don't worry. Now, if you look at the resources, let's see, you don't have many tickets left. You have a lot of black market tickets though. You have some keys, that's okay. Regarding the revolution mats, you don't have much left. That's okay, you did a lot of investments. You don't have a lot of exclusive equipment mats, obviously, that's the main issue. You have a lot of loot boxes actually. You have also 174 of these. This is a lot of stuff. I will say coins and Shinsu can kind of be used without too many issues because from like floor 30 to floor 80, there is just a 30% increase in the amount you get roundabout. So really small stuff. You don't get any increase in AFK loot for these two mats. So you could open them if needed. But the Link XP ones really do get a lot more important as you progress. You are also unlikely to get stuck on Link XP early on. So if you can save on these, do it, and only level the links when you're like, when they could get you to the next power spike. Like in your case, you have the +5 from here, +5 levels, and you also have some from the Shinsu Blessing, which is a +1. So you have a +6 level. That means that your power spikes are going to be from level like 25, from level 15, 35, 55, and stuff like that. So right now your links are 246 and 226. Pretty good. You could just use the boxes if you could get this link from 240 to 255 to get to 261, which is the next power spike. If you can do that, then it's okay to open the boxes if you're stuck and reach that point, but don't go past it. Like, don't go and spend more boxes than needed. Just get to the point where you can reach the next threshold. That's your goal pretty much. Now, regarding links, you did level them up quite quickly. Like, your priority with soul crystals after you got to like link level A is to get the origin orb going. Now, I already had a look at your origin orb and they're already looking good, so no real need to worry too much about that. Really, it's already really good because we saw that we have like purple that is already at swiftness, that's great. Yellow is already at the accuracy part, red as well, Blue is a bit behind, but that's normal. You don't even have blue units, so it's totally fine. And green is also up there. So your progress on all of them is good, and I can get why you invested in the links, so that's fine. Probably, like, I would still have, like, kept the ranks of the links at the level that's reasonable. Like, A is level 240, so these links could have been A1, and these three could have been A's, and then just level them up as you approach the level cap. The rest of the soul crystals, after you're done with the origin orbs, the first year, so to all the plus 10 swiftness in all colors, don't really bother on the second half just yet. Then you can maybe buy the 3 Essence facility crystals to unlock the third page. You already had a great progress on the strength 3 Essence facility, to be honest, like crazy good. You are more than half done, so that's awesome. The other ones, a bit of a normal progress. I think you were quite lucky on the strength facility. The other two are just already okay, but you see, these will take you a lot of resources, and maybe using some of the soul crystals for buying the 3 Essence crystals could also have been a good idea. But again, no major mistake here, is totally fine. For the astrolabe, I think I already mentioned before, your first priority is the link XP, because that's where, like, AFK loot is the main source of this. And regarding coins and Shinsu, as I mentioned before, for the opening of boxes, it doesn't really change much, but coins is the one with the biggest increase. It increases by 20% per level that you put here. This one only 5%. So I would go for coins second and Shinsu last, pretty much. That's the idea, I would say. Regarding anything else, I don't think there is much to mention. Regarding the workshop store, I already said that in my beginner's guide, my most recent beginner's guide. You don't really need to buy anything other than coins, which is totally fine as a purchase, and loot XP. This one could be bought. You don't need to buy too many, because especially right now you don't really feel a need to use them, but they will come in handy at a certain point. So buying once, like one of them every once in a while that you see them appear, is definitely great. In this Alliance store, you want to buy the S rank gear that you need for the units, and the rest not necessarily. I'm still hoping they're going to reduce the price, really too expensive. In here you can buy the books as you need them, and then just buy the exclusive equipment mats if you really want to, and if you really need that extra push. Don't just buy them randomly. If you are like at 100 and you took it to 130, doesn't matter. Buy only them if they, like, you have 270 and you buy these 30 to get to 300. That is a whole 10 level from 0 to 10. That is worth it. From 100 to 130, you're just spending coins for nothing, so it's kind of unnecessary. In here, as I said before, you can just buy the crystals with the soul crystals if you want. You can buy this with the excess of green crystals or green gems, whatever. I wouldn't buy the books because you can go at a multiple of 3s in the origin orb, so adding a 1 is kind of tricky. I don't know, kind of messes up the calculations, so kind of bad. This one is also fine every now and then, but I wouldn't really bother too much until your 3 Essence facility is done, or at least page 2 and 3 are unlocked, and the rest doesn't really matter for a long time, so I'm not going to talk about that. Let's have a look also at the wishlist maybe. I will say that BAM can be removed. Nare is not really that important until she gets to Revolution 5, so I wouldn't really bother, to be honest with her. You could add her VV in just to get her to 3 red. Let's see if there is someone else worth going for. Blanc. So I would probably put Blanc in there. And that's kind of the idea, I would say. That's the wish list I would probably do. Oh, okay. I didn't mean to. I hope it could be cancelled, actually. Forgot. So, okay, let's put again Nare and Bam. But yeah, that's the wish list I kind of would have gone for, let's say. But yeah, so far the account I will say is super solid, really good, and the progression is also really nice. Unfortunately, you will be stuck for a bit until you can actually put together some ignition weapons and extruded equipment. Just try to play around with the stuff I just said to try and optimize as much as possible your ignition weapons use. But you cannot really expect much, unfortunately. It's going to be a lot of RNG. You still have a lot of evasion more than the enemy accuracy, so you could pull something off here and there, but it will take a lot of retries. And yeah, that's pretty much it, guys, for my account review. Let me know if it was helpful, or if you would like to have more information, or if I should have said something else. I don't know. Let me know in the comments down below. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!